One of the biggest shocks for people moving to Jacksonville isn't the heat or the bugs, or even the housing prices, it's the driving. Because the truth is, Jacksonville is huge, and if you're coming from a more compact city or somewhere with real public transportation, the traffic flow here can feel really confusing. You might look at the map and think, that's only 15 miles. But next thing you know, you're in stop and go on I-295 or stuck behind a train on a random back road. So in this video, we're breaking down how traffic in Jacksonville really works. I'll walk you through the major roads, when and where things get backed up, which suburbs tend to have the worst commutes, and how to think about traffic if you're planning a move here. So whether you're coming from a fast-paced city or a small town with one red light, this is going to give you a real-world feel for how to plan your day-to-day life in Jax. Hey there, if you're new to my channel, I'm Josh Rogers, and I lead the F3 home team here in Northeast Florida. I've been a real estate agent here in Jacksonville for the past 15 years, and I work with families every week who are relocating to Jacksonville and just trying to figure out where life will actually work for them. And that goes beyond finding a house. It's figuring out where you'll drive every day, how long it'll take, and what your life will feel like once you're here. So if you're in that early stage of researching and need someone to help you cut through all the noise, go ahead and text me. I'd be happy to help to find the perfect home that fits your lifestyle and budget. Now let's start with this. Jacksonville isn't just big. It's the largest city by land area in the continental US. That means what would be a quick crosstown drive in most cities could easily be a 45-minute haul here, even if it doesn't look that far on a map. Most of the traffic here is commuter-based, not tourism-based. So what that means is you'll see heavy congestion in very specific windows, typically around 6:30 to 9 in the morning, and again from 3:30 to about 6 in the evening. But the congestion isn't everywhere all at once. It's mostly centered around a few main routes. There are 3 main highways to pay attention to: I-95, I-295, and State Road 9B. I-95 is the main north-south corridor, and it runs straight through the middle of the city. If you're coming into town from the airport or heading to downtown from the south side, this is probably the road you'll hit. It backs up most frequently during rush hour at exits around downtown, especially near the Fuller Warren Bridge and the interchange where I-10 meets I-95. I-295, on the other hand, is essentially the Beltway. It loops around the entire city and lets you avoid cutting through downtown. It's popular for folks who live in the suburbs and work in the city, and it's usually the safer bet if you're trying to avoid congestion. But there are still some hotspots. The Buckman Bridge on the southwest side, for example, can be a parking lot during peak times. It's the main connection between Mandarin and Orange Park. Then there's State Road 9B, which is quickly becoming one of the most used connectors between northern St. Johns County and South Jacksonville. It merges into I-295 and offers fast access to areas like E-Town and Bartram Park. It's pretty smooth overall, but as more development happens in that area, traffic has started to build during those key commute windows. Now let's talk suburbs. If you're planning to live on the outskirts and commute in, this is where traffic becomes part of your lifestyle. Areas like Julington Creek, Nocatee, and St. John's are beautiful and full of amenities, but your commute into central Jacksonville will probably include either the Buckman Bridge or I-95, both of which get busy, and if you're not strategic with your schedule, you could easily add 20 to 30 minutes to your drive. On the flip side, areas like Mandarin, E-Town, and Southside offer more central locations with quicker access to multiple highways. These spots give you flexibility to jump on I-295 or take back roads if traffic's bad. Same goes for parts of Bay Meadows, Deerwood, and San Marco. They're more centrally located, so while you still hit traffic, you're not as locked in as someone who's 45 minutes out in a planned community. And if you're near the beaches, your biggest issue isn't highway traffic. It's navigating Beach Boulevard or Atlantic Boulevard, especially when the weather's nice and people are heading east. Those roads can back up quickly, and there aren't many alternate routes. Now, obviously, all of this depends on your lifestyle and your routine. Some people don't mind a longer commute if it means a better house or neighborhood. Others want to be close to everything, even if the price is higher. So if you're watching this and wondering which areas might line up best with your everyday flow, just text me. That's exactly what I help people figure out. Because when you're relocating, you don't just need a house. You need a plan that actually works for your life. There are also a few quirks that people moving here aren't prepared for. First, train crossings. They're all over the city, and depending on where you live, you could get caught behind one without warning. Places like Phillips Highway, North Main Street, and parts of the west side have active freight tracks. It's just something to keep in mind when you're house hunting. Some people don't care, but others get tired of it quickly. Second, school zones. Jacksonville is full of residential areas with elementary and middle schools right inside the neighborhoods. That means if you're commuting during morning drop-off or afternoon pickup, you're going to run into flashing lights and 15-mile-per-hour zones in random places. It's a great safety feature, but it does add time to your route if you're not prepared. Third, construction. The city is growing fast, especially in places like Durban, Silverleaf, and E-Town, so you're going to see cones, slowdowns, and random detours in those high-growth corridors. Most of it is for good reason, like adding roads, widening lanes, and improving flow. But it's something to factor in when choosing where to live. So is Jacksonville traffic the worst in the country? Not even close. But it does have its own rhythm, and if you're coming from a place where everything's 5 minutes away, it can definitely take some getting used to. That's why choosing the right neighborhood matters. It's not just about what's pretty or what's popular, it's about how your life will actually work. And if you're seriously considering a move and want to talk through what that could look like for you, shoot me a text. We'll figure out what you're hoping for in a home based on your needs and connect you with a home in a neighborhood that suits your lifestyle and budget. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.